Lissa.
Okay, I'm going to take this mic. Is the one that's working? Okay. Good morning. Yay! Did everybody have a nice Valentine's Day? So a friend of mine has her birthday on Valentine's Day, and she was like in the morning, she and her husband were getting up, and she's looking in the mirror, and oh, sorry, I talked too much with my hands. I got to remember. Okay, so she's looking in the mirror, and her husband says, "Well, what do you want for your birthday?" And she's looking. She says, "I want to be 8 again." And he's like, "You got it." So he sweeps her away and takes her to Disneyland, and he treats her to Mickey Mouse ears and caramel corn and cotton candy, and they go on all the rides, and they're running all around, and they're having a great time. And then he says, "Oh, dinner's at a very special place." So he takes her to Chuck E. Cheese, and they watch the animated cartoon, what's his name? The mouse, Chuck E. Cheese. And they're getting all the tickets and playing all the games, and they come home and they're just exhausted. So he says to her, "So, what did it feel like to be 8 years old again?" And she looks at him and she goes, "That's what this was about? I meant size 8 in clothes." So there are times when even with the best of intentions, it's kind of awkward and uncomfortable, right? And we have this discomfort. What is discomfort but a signal to create change in our life, to see that something is wrong? Yeah, stop resisting. The Buddha always said pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Yeah. We come into this life with a human body, so we are susceptible to change. We're susceptible to pain. That's the way it goes. That's what we signed up for. How we react to that pain, that's our choice. That's where the free will comes in. And that's where it's up to us to make the decision. So there's a story in Vedanta and ancient Hinduism about this princess. And she was having a lot of pressure on her to get married. She was just of that age. And she was just not having it. And her parents, especially the king, was just saying, "Look, we need to merge nations. We need to do this." She says, "Money means nothing to me. I don't care how rich he is. I don't care how many kingdoms he is in charge of. I don't care about that. I don't care about looks. I don't care if he's the most handsome guy around. What I care about is somebody I can actually have a conversation with. I care about somebody who's smart." And she was really smart. So finally, she and the king agreed that they would hold a debate, and she would marry anyone who could beat her in a debate. And she's like, "Bring it on," because she knew she was so smart. She was going to beat anybody around. She could beat anybody around. So the word got out all over, and a lot of people showed up, a lot of guys who really wanted to marry the princess for one reason or another, because it's for their best interest too. She, one by one, blew them away, blew them away, blew them away. And she was like, I don't have to marry anybody. I'm smart enough. I can take care of myself. I got this, right? Her parents were not happy. They were like, "What are we going to do now?" And the guys she beat, the kings that she beat in the debate, they were mad. They were upset. They were like, "How dare she make a fool out of us? We're important people. We're smart. She made us look like fools. No way." So they got together and they came up with this scheme to get back at her. They all decided they were going to go into town and find the dumbest guy they could find. And they were going to like Pygmalion him, like My Fair Lady him, into being a smart guy. So they're looking and looking and looking, and then they look up and they see there's a big tree and there's a long branch, and there's a guy sitting on the end of the branch sawing the branch. And they're like, what? And of course he saws it and falls off, right? And they're like, that's the guy. That's the guy. We couldn't ask for anything more than that. He couldn't be more dumb. So it turns out his name is Kalidas. They say to him, Kalidas, we're going to make you a deal. We're going to make it so that you are the smartest guy around and you get to marry the princess. He's like, I don't know. I'm not the smartest guy around. He goes, look, all you have to do is say nothing. Just say nothing. We're going to tell her that you took a vow of silence, that you're this very wise ascetic, and that you don't speak. And we're going to dress you up like a swami, and you're just going to stand there and nod and don't say anything. Don't say anything. And he's like, okay, whatever. Maybe it's worth it. I'll try. So they do all this stuff. They convince him, and they get to the debate. And the princess is looking at him, and she's like, really? He took a vow of silence? Okay. Then I'll join in. I'll be in a vow of silence too. We'll debate silently using sign language. So it's like, okay. Kalidas, he doesn't know what to say. The other guys are just like, okay. So the princess starts. She says this. She just raises one finger. In her mind, she's thinking, there is one God, one Brahman, one universe, one everything. It all comes down to the one that is everything, all. Kalidas looks at her. He doesn't know what she's saying. She's raising one finger. I'll raise two fingers. So he raises two fingers. There you go, right? But he's quiet. He's not saying anything. She's like, oh, how brilliant that is. When I said there's one of everything, he's saying, oh, yes, but there's the manifest and the unmanifest. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So she says, okay, second point of the debate. She raises her hand like this. In her mind, she's thinking, there are 5 elements of this earth: air, space, fire, water, and earth. And that's it. Everything is made up of the 5 elements. He looks at her and goes, she's raising her hand. She wants to slap me. She thinks I'm so stupid. She's just raising her hand to slap me. Well, you know what? You slap me, I'm going to punch you. So he raises his hand in a fist. And she's thinking he means, yes, there are 5 elements, but it all goes back into the unmanifest where there's nothing. So she's like, this man is brilliant. And she falls at his feet and says, you have beat me at debate. You know all the answers. I will marry you. Kalidas is like, whoa. And the guys in the back that set him up were just laughing. They're like, let's do the wedding now. So they made this whole big wedding, and the princess married Kalidas, and he's still silent and everything. But of course, wedding night comes. And it didn't take long before he was found out. I mean, he couldn't hide it. When she figured it out, what happened, she was so angry. She was so angry. She cursed him out. She cursed her parents out. She's just like, how dare you do this to me? This is not right. I'm stuck with this guy for the rest of my life. This is insane. This is terrible. How dare you do this to me? Kalidas was so ashamed. He didn't know what to do. He was embarrassed. He was humiliated. He ran away. He ran away to the river, and he thought, this is it. I can't face my community. Like, at least I was a fool before, but nobody else knew it. Now everybody's going to know it. How terrible I am, how stupid I am, what a mess I've made of my life. I'm going to end my life, drown myself in the river. So he goes to the river, and he sees that women are washing their clothes by the river. And he notices that the stones they are using are very smooth with rounded edges. And he looks at all the other stones that are all around the river, and they're very jagged and hard and sharp. And he thinks to himself, these stones, just by being pounded on each other over and over and over again, have become smooth, have worn away their sharp edges. And he thought, if that can happen to a rock, maybe it can happen to me. So at that moment, he said, I accept my suffering, and may this make me a better person. Well, the Kali temple was right there, and Kali overheard him. And she thought, this guy is a true devotee, and he really understands how it works. She came down and blessed him, and she wrote the symbol of Om on his tongue. And from that moment onwards, he became the Kalidas. This Kalidas is a famous poet. He wrote many plays, he wrote many poems. He was revered as a saint in India. And this is said to be a true story of what happened to him. So the interesting thing to remember is that the event that Kali came and wrote the Om on his tongue is not the turning point in his life. The turning point was not that he gained anything. The turning point was that he overcame something. He overcame the delusion that he was not worthy. He overcame the delusion that he was ignorant. In that flash of seeing the rocks and understanding, I'm just like that rock and I can change. There is potential in me for growth. He woke up to his greatness. And it's not that the greatness was never there. The greatness was always there. He just woke up to it. He just realized it in that moment. And Kali came and blessed him to take him to that next level. We can overcome any karma and any circumstances that we face simply by waking up to the truth of our existence. And it's that simple. It's not that we're gaining intelligence. It's not that we're gaining enlightenment. It's that we're knowing that that's what we already are. When we feel that we're poor, it's not gaining money that's going to make us rich. It's the knowing that there is nothing that we lack that makes us rich. When we're thinking, oh, we want to find the perfect partner, it's not finding Mr. Right or Mrs. Right that's going to make us happy. It's knowing that we are never alone. We are never alone. We can't possibly be alone because we're all connected. So don't be fooled by any current situation that you're going through. These are just circumstances that change. You are, we are, I am, we each are the Atman, that God within. And that's what we need to cling to. We are Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. That is who we are. Shankaracharya, it's one of those multi-syllable things. Adi Shankaracharya said, the self is not a thing which is unknown to anyone at any time, nor is it an object to be attained or gotten rid of. The self is. And that's what makes us whole, complete, and perfect, because that's who we are. Surrender, it's like when Kalidas saw the rocks, he surrendered to his situation. He didn't try to run away from it, fight or flight, by saying, I'm going to drown myself, I'm going to run away to the forest. He embraced it. He surrendered to the what is and saw the potential of what could be. When we surrender, surrendering is not about losing. Surrendering is not about giving up. It's about letting go of the illusion, letting go of expectations, letting go of the way we think things should be, because God knows better than us. When Bill sings about lean on me, who do we need to lean on? God, the universe, self, whatever name we want to call it. I call it the G word. Some people are uncomfortable with that, but you've got a friend. Who's your friend? God is your friend. Krishna, Jesus, Mary, Holy Mother. That's your friend always, in all ways. And that's our connection. And then that relationship is what helps us to understand that not only can we get through it, but that this uncomfortable situation arose to show us that we are more than that. Much, much more than that. And there's a lot of people throughout history that we can use as examples. Einstein didn't say a word until he was 4 years old. They say some of these brilliant men, I think Bill Gates couldn't even tie his shoes till he was 10 years old or something. And his first business that he started failed. Charlize Theron, the beautiful actress, Oscar-winning actress, in front of her very eyes, she witnessed her mother kill her father. He was an abusive man. She witnessed that. She overcame that trauma and became an Oscar-winning actress. Elvis said he always felt awkward. He always felt the nerd. He never fit in. He wasn't popular in high school. He was always that hillbilly guy. And he became Elvis Presley. Michael Jordan played high school basketball. The coach cut him because he said he's a slacker. That got to him. He's like, whoa, that taught him, I got to be disciplined. I got to do this. And look at how much he overcame that to become Michael Jordan, probably the best player ever. We know Oprah's story, how she grew up very poor and abused, impregnated by one of her relatives when she was 14 and then had a miscarriage. I mean, this would do people in, right? That would just, but no. She overcame it. She knew her greatness within and became the Oprah Winfrey. I mean, I could go on and on. I've got a list of things, but that's the idea. You don't have to be famous. These people who have overcome hardship are in our own backyard. They're our neighbors. They're our friends. There's a woman, she recently passed at the Vedanta Society. She lives in the ashram, or lived in the ashram up until recently. The sweetest lady, and I knew she had like knee problems, but she always walked to temple every single day, even with her knee problems. And she was so kind and so loving and so devoted. And what we didn't know is she was an Auschwitz survivor. She had the number tattooed on her arm. It's like amazing. It blows me away. The devotion and the trust and the faith that comes with all these people. You never know what people are going through. So for us to see that divinity in them is a gift to them as well as a gift to us. So there's a song that Vito and I wrote. Here's my plug for the day. We have a new album out called We Share the Moon. It came out on Valentine's Day. Thank you very much. 10 original songs inspired by saints and sages from throughout time and cultures. And we made a song out of one of Rumi's poems. And in it, he says, and this is me paraphrasing his poem so that it rhymes in my song, but it's called All I Thought Was Mine. Rumi says, day and night, I've held this pearl of my soul. To guard it was my foremost goal. But now I see I'm in this ocean you've designed, and I've lost track of all I thought was mine. Isn't that amazing? All right. I'm going to end it there. And thank you guys very much. See the light within yourself, in the mirror, and in each other each and every day. Thank you. And so it is.